So I don't know if anybody's been to Forex Factory, but I've come here for the news, or you can go to FX Book, which has little beeps. And I used to have a service called AEG. It was a broker out of South Africa or something, out of somewhere down there, and it's still there. It's called let's say AGEA or something. They'd have this person come on 5 minutes before the news and say news is coming. Now this is great if you're in a really big position and you forgot that the news is coming out, because it can really shock the market. In other words, the market can explode into, in my opinion, into vacuums that have been created by indecision of the doji, of anything like that. So having the doji trade plan or the hammer, same thing. In other words, the market opened and closed in 1 hour. It hasn't moved. I mean, for all intents and purposes, of course, now if you've got a very tight stop, they kicked you out of that trade. So I think we've all been in trades, saying all, if you never traded, if you haven't been in that trade, but you've been in that trade if you got married to somebody and you're like, oh shit, okay, I got to manage this trade. And of course, it's not to say that the trade isn't working out sometimes. You know, you can't wait to get up in the morning and abuse her and stuff like that. So, you know, the tug of war that goes on, you have a relationship with the market, and of course, it's not always moving your way. Sometimes the other team, the Bears or the Bulls, are winning. And all the books I read, like Alexander Elder, and I met the guy, and actually, when he told the stories about his lifestyle, I totally got it. You know, he said that he was, people think that when they drive with him, it's a contest to see how he can scare the shit out of him. What he's saying is that that's how I drive all the time. You're just not used to that style. So he's really very extreme. And he ended up with something called Spike. So if you watch Alexander Elder's journey of trading, going what works, and very analytical guy, I'd say half, but most it's so people say, oh, his stuff sucks. Well, maybe you just don't like the guy's personality, so that can be off-putting. It doesn't mean that his message, it's like they say, don't shoot the messenger. It doesn't mean that what he's saying isn't true, and it doesn't make a fucking ton of money. And I think that you could have robots. That's why I'm looking at getting one of these shuttle computers and just loading it for pure robot building. Just have it like, okay, that thing's over in the corner, just chunking away. And like I said, you can, and this is a real task to set up. This is like putting shingles on your roof, but you take Windows 8 or better, and you get a mouse recorder. And somebody told me that this is not the way to do it, but I think it is, because this is like you're training somebody to do a task for you. And there's no hiddenness. There's none of this, well, you got to learn MTL for fuck that shit. Get mouse recorder, get yourself a tablet, and direct it. This is what this Saving Ryan Brown's asked, right? Saving Ryan's privates. It's a very funny comment. This guy he's quixotic. And so I am too. And actually a Samurai Trader, who I subscribe to Samurai Trader and haven't watched him in a long time. I don't know, he's charged $400 a scalp with him. I think that's terrible. I wouldn't charge somebody $400 to scalp with me, because there's that's too much money. Why not just do 10 trades with a 400 pip stop? You know, can you make money with a 400 pip stop? Oh yeah. If you're willing to wait 8 hours. I mean, it's going to go against you. Are you going to be right about every trade? This guy who's not blown up his account, he lost money, this Forex, Curtis Hanley, he's fucking, yeah, of course, everybody recovers. Even after you smash your thumb to bits, the motherfucker grows back. It's fucking insane. I mean, your cock grows if you prune it and you just treat it like, it depends how you're treating it. Or you could just say, you know what, I'm gonna fucking, like I said, the spectrum being a crackhead on espresso with his finger on like a he's got foot. This is what I imagine with my tequila buddies. Now this is going back 8 years now. But I showed him Forex and he's as nutty as me. I think he outnuts me, so he has to drink tequila to take himself into the so he can get inside the shuttle bay of life. So he's very extreme, and he said, "Yeah, man, get foot switch." I go, "Yeah, right foot switches by, left is sell. Alt control on your." This is I'm just giving away the trade secrets of a true hyper scalper. My fantasy of that, because I'm not going to do that, because then I'd have to get the chair, right? You got to get the $1,000 chair because you're gonna be sitting there all day, and it's got like back rubs built in, and or the trading desk. I see the new thing on TV. Our desk goes up and down. Call for. I'm like, they're probably gonna rape you like $5,000, dude. Just build one at home. Get some Chinese fucking motors. You ever heard of a fucking erector set? What happened to fucking people, dude? They run these goddamn fucking apps. Well, it does this. Dude, it's a one-trick pony. Besides, these fucking tablets, I'm just going to lose my fucking mind the whole time I'm on vacation. Touch this. Oh, I just opened something. Hey, I'm calling somebody I hate. Oh, thanks. No, I'm calling somebody I don't want to, like, I don't even want, or somebody spam called me and like, oh, great, I'm calling this guy back. Oh, that's great. Now they think I'm interested. And the robots, I don't know if you've noticed this, are just like people. So they'll come and go. Like if you kind of nudge them, and there was that thing on Facebook that you could nudge somebody. I thought that's kind of cute. When can I hump somebody on Facebook? Dude, your friends are hotter than you. So what, hey, and you're posting your meal. I'm looking at your friends list going, oh my God, man, why didn't I marry this bitch? I don't care if she's fucking stupid. That's pretty fun. That's pretty sad, right? It's a reality of life, I suppose. Yeah, she's ugly as shit, but I can have a conversation. So anyways, getting back to this trading thing, it's just too much fun, man. Especially all the antics and all that kind of course, look at fucking Forex Factory. They're running candles. But you really got to understand, I think what the candle's telling you so much per candle, you don't need more than any fucking... You just can't have a chart of 80 candles, dude. This is like watching the whole series of 7 years of a show that ran on TV. You don't need to know that story. You need to know the next fucking thing that's probably going to happen. And we've all seen these movies that are so fucking cliche. Well, the market's absolutely fucking cliche. That's what's so annoying about it. That it's so, you're like, really? So let me guess, it's done going up, now it's going to go down. And your timeline for that to happen is distorted by the fact that you maybe got in too early or maybe got in too late. Look at the shit about Brexit. Look at Brexit showdown. Dude, this has nothing to do with what's happening in these fucking markets. It's got them the other way. Bill Williams is right. So when Bill Williams said that, I go, yeah, I get it now. I mean, it's just sad to say that all these people that are saying fundamentals, look at fundamental trading always beats technical 100%. Yeah, because you're right in the end. The market moves your way and you go, say, when I take a tinkle in the morning, it makes the sun come up. You see how that's working? Okay, listen, coincidence is not causality. It's the first law of logic. Now, I get if you want to live in some religious world of like, it's raining because I prayed really hard. I'm praying for you. I'm like, oh my God, just go build your own house. Shut the fuck up. Go hump a homeless person. Give a free blowjobs. Hire hookers for homeless people.com. I mean, come on, man. Really? That's your answer? Look at Yahoo Japan plans to launch crypto exchange amid probably, you would know that fucking liberal tree huggers are going to jump on the Bitcoin train in New York. So I hear on the news, very keen when I heard Bitcoin, I triggered like a dog hearing, you want to go outside, watch the Bitcoin drama. Dude, even if you traded that trade, I guarantee you'd say, I wish I would have bought more. You're always going to wish you would have fucked her harder. Oh God, that was such a hot. I should have just said, "Hey, listen, if I wouldn't know we are going to break up in 3 months, I would have told you everything I was thinking all in that one night when we went out to eat." Well, the same thing's going to happen when you look at these glorious moves in the market that are just astoundingly fucking astounding, and you say to yourself, "God, I wish I was in that motherfucker." God damn. Right at 9:30 when the stocks open, that fucker spiked down and ripped the other way for 80 pips. What the fuck? Bitch. And so that fear of placing those pendings on the very edge of the market, being the greatest cunt in the world, it's hard to do. If you're not a greedy person, and we all see these, I've gone through over a million fucking times that you really want to get in when right on the edge of the abyss. And once we go into the abyss and the void, look the fuck out, because that bitch is hell-bent. And I guess that's the only harmonic there is in trading. It's not these fucking Garleys. It is the harmonic overlay, and this is what makes it work for the guys that's on the surfboards I've heard. Here's the concept. Here's the argument. Why do cycles work? Yeah, because they're cycles, but they're resonating, they're decaying. Like when you hit something, there's Doppler effect too. There's a skew. Don't forget, if markets are Mother Nature, this is why these fucker nuts are using 618. I got that. What is the extent? What is the power? And how long can that thing go? And you are a slave to. If you're a pattern trader, you're a slave to the time frame, because these time frames all overlap. And the triangle within the triangle with the triangle stack up. Something's got to give. And it's going to be brutal. And it may not be the direction you thought. Look at this. I don't know if you can see this US CAD candle. See if I can zoom in here. Sorry to go off on a rant there, but like I said, I'll be doing a bunch of these little baby videos here to catch up on my neurotic rant. I always want to do a neurotic rant, but let's just look at these candles. Now, there's nothing wrong with candlestick trading from the standpoint of closing. You're trading on the clock, man. You can't. I mean, I can't see the fucking bar to it's all about the body and the shadow. And the shadow is anything if you just plotted pure bodies and you only got in contrarian to the body with 20 orders of various stops. Now you're just going to put 20 orders in there. You're either going to press a button that loads 20 orders. So I'm going to open up the script file. There's 3 kinds of scripts in the link. So you have, and I guess I should label the folders what they actually do. That's nothing I've ever bothered to do, and I thought I should do it for myself now. So how quickly can you execute something, and if you know exactly what you want to do next week in the markets, how long is it going to take you? And I used to hear this thing. It was a course that somebody was selling. They go, for 3 hours, in 30 minutes a day, you can just trade 30 minutes a day and make money. That is true from the standpoint if you spent your 30 minutes just plopping in fucking fucked out orders all above and below you, because you always don't want to buy low and sell high. That's given. That's how you make money. So you would just throw these orders in and walk away. Now, if you know how to scalp the market, you would say, well, why the fuck would you just throw random orders out there like an idiot? Because that makes money just as much as scalping makes money if you do it right. So this is why all styles of trading make money. It's just the metric. If you look at a 3D or even a 4-dimensional view of trading, it's like, imagine the market's open right now. We just opened. Before the market opened, this whole weekend, you could be laying elaborate matrices or lattice, or you could just be sitting there, print out every fucking chart, and look at the terrain of the behavior of the market and say, what kind of order do I need to place here to make money? Is it going to be a stop, or is it going to be a a limit order. And it could even be a limit order that's 3 pips deep because you have one that's 9 pips deep and you got enough money. I mean, this makes it so it's approachable. When I saw micro lots, I said, holy shit. And then when I saw nano lots, some guy was making fun of my nano lots. I said, dude, that's effortless. I mean, you can just be like, I'm down 30 cents and the market's down 300 pips and I got buy stop stacked above. I mean, I laughed my ass off nano trading. I'm like, I'm down like $20. I'm up 160. You can take so much punishment on a nano account. I mean, that's another thing. And so people get really angry with me when I said, on this guy that was abusing me for being a dick, the guy Kelvin Klein. And so, he's got an artistry view of the market, a geometric view of the market, because he's a graphic designer. So see, he's clung to that as the way to survive. That's his skill, And maybe he was into graphic design, and and there's a lot of people. I mean, I must say my favorite class was geometry because it's pure logic and it's pure rules that don't bend. And if that is your level, if that's your T-square for life, then you feel safe, right? Because you have this yardstick to measure and assess. Okay, I guess I can have a good time at this party because I made it here without smashing into anybody, and I'm doing pretty good, and I guess I can be sociable. Now, if you're in Nazi prison camp, you're kind of forced to, wow, it's out of your hands. So in some regards, the problem with trading is that it's all in your hands and you can do anything you want in that account. There's endless expression. You basically have a blank piece of paper, and it's certainly on the weekend. If you're an analyzer, and people that just all they do is make money going, I think it's going to go here and I think it's going to go there. Okay, great. But, don't let people think that you could load the wagon on any one of those trades. Like this other thing is that I guess this Ryan Brown's risking 36%. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. The Samurai Trader's killing it. Now, Samurai Trader will make more money than, let's say, most traders. And see, so Curtis Hanley's view of Samurai Trader is he's really nuts. But that's what you need almost to be nutty. It's like Hollywood. You'd have to be out of your fucking mind, right, to live in a fishbowl. But this is how it's working out. This is how you're surviving. This is how you're making money. And breakout trading is, I swear, the dumbest shit I've ever... I mean, it's just stupid dumb. I don't even know what time frame this chart is here, but look at this CAD. 3 dojis, boom. And look at that vacuum it filled above that rooftop. They blew that rooftop out. This is when you see the guys in power trading were coming up on resistance. I'm like, yeah. And so what was it going to do? Pull back and go down? Maybe it doesn't, right? And this indecision is just so obvious. If you watch the 5-minute chart, if you watch the tick chart at 9:30, coming into 9:30, you'll see from 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, they'll bid currencies that just keep bidding and bidding either direction, pounding into, either up or down, pounding into the opening Dow Jones. Why is that? People are taking shit on and off the table. People are squaring their positions. People are people that are in, and they're up, they're getting out, and people that are down are getting out. In other words, people are saying, oh, let's see what, like, you can just feel it, I mean, especially if you're in that trade. Now, you'd feel it more if you have real money at risk in that stuff. If you don't know what it was, imagine, I just kind of don't have this opportunity in life to, without coming off as like a, you just can't show up somewhere and go, here, let me show you something. Because if you say the word money, it's almost like you're living in a communist, you're living in Russia, right? I mean, the Americans have a paranoia like Russians did, where it's like, holy shit, they're recording everything we're doing, right? It's Orwellian or whatever. I mean, but, you still have to I guess if you're really busy in life, you don't consider that stuff. But if you have time to contemplate, and the problem with, so trading's a lonely thing, and so what would you? Well, you could fuck the market, So, or you could do, there's so I think last 2 years ago, I just was writing scripts a lot, and actually didn't have time to trade. In other words, pull the trigger on something out of the corner of my eye. Like if I saw, oh, fuck, buy that. Look at what's the fuck going on here. Um, and if you're looking for that, you see a market go smashing in one direction. You're like, oh fuck. Now my first feeling is, damn, I should have been in on that. I could have just stacked up a fucking hedge like an idiot shit. Just the dumbest fucking trade in the world, and go, yeah, they chopped out a leg or two, but I'm up. You got killer ratios, risk 1 to make 5, 1 to make 3. And in those trades, you're up, boom. I mean, you're literally being like, I'm fucking up on this trade. I'm up on the account's just tripled or whatever. It's up, I don't know, $1,000. So that's what Samurai Trader is doing. And but you got to have more than one account. So the idea of blowing up your account, this whole idea, well, of course you're blowing up your account. Dude, you're blowing up if you're down $800, open drawdown in any trade, you would have blown up a $700 account. But maybe you like the feeling of, this all depends. You've already got a day job that's paying X. You're trading just to have fun. But if you actually really, really needed the money, that was you're truly professional trader, and it's all you had to worry about. This is like that hunting show where people go out in the woods. Can he survive? Can this guy eat bark for like 6 months? Look, he won the contest. Look, he ate fucking bark and sucked, he just sucked a bear off and stuff. He did what he needed to do. And grizzly bear, he got a Kodiak bear and mounted him. He used to live like that. They claimed that guy in that movie was banging a bear or something. And the candlestick, I've never had anybody describe a trade plan for a candlestick. But there is one. There's definitely a trade plan for a candlestick. And that's getting in, pretty heavy, pretty tighter stops when the bodies are smaller. The smaller the body of a candle, the tighter your trade plan. And that's just a known fact. I just thought everybody knew that. Problem is, people say, well, how tight is tight? And now what time frame do I do that on? And should I wait all week for a fucking amazing trade? Yeah, if you're trying to make 300 pips and you can see, oh yeah, they're going to fucking take that down into the vacuum. And I say just the mass of people that are pushing along in life and picking up the latest dumbass fucking fashion trend. Like I said, these cars that people are designing, it's like, really? Like, dude, this, when a BMW starts looking like a Dodge, you got a problem there. This kind of this just, I don't know. I like to see more diversification and thought. They talk about diversification and like you got to hire this guy from this tribe and this guy from this tribe. How about people just fucking, get a clue there? But no, it's like the old back test that, make sure I got a gun. Like, you're never gonna fucking know. Besides the next. So the idea that you're going to build the account as soon as you decide, well, I'm going to go from 500, I want to build it up to 1,000. Okay, that's great, but you can't. You can't. In other words, the target that you're looking for might be 50 pips, but it may take 5 hours to hit your target, or it may take 5 minutes. And so, what happens if it gets there in 5 minutes and you're way up on the trade? Or the same thing, if you're way down on the trade, it's going to affect you because, well, it does me because I have a target and I think, God, they hit it already? Jesus fuck. I typically would get out, or because I never move trailing stops, so I don't play the trailing stop game. Because I just want to stick with that original risk and let that thing And of course, hopefully I'm out of half of the position after, say it's going to blast 80 pips. When we blast 50 pips, I might be out of half. It just depends because I'm not paying attention to all the tickets. That's another thing. With trading with that many tickets, people say, well, how do you do the math? I don't. I mean, I kind of have a rough estimate that I know there's this much money in the account. If I do this, now, the only time, and of course, the more you see the pattern, you go, oh, I've seen this before. The harder it is not to add to what you know in about 20 minutes or 20 hours is going to be a great fucking target, because you're like, holy shit, we are down 300 pips in one day. Now, the hedgers made money that day because you can hedge in a trend and always make money. And when I say hedge, I mean buy stops above, sell stops below. Let the market prove you right. This is Alexander Elder's detachment. And Buddhism works great for trading because it's detachment. You're looking to lose. You're aiming at losing, so you always win. Because you did what you sought to do, which is pull the trigger on a trade, be down, and put skin in the game, but not your whole fucking, not both nuts and your dick, right? You have to reserve some of your body, maybe one nut and a leg, right? So you're like an amputee that could almost, you can make half a family. And so, but yeah, the candle thing, yeah, I got a trade plan. I mean, come on, just doji, and I had a doji bot running, and the problem is that in order to test it, I have to really run it. And I actually had it running on one broker, but the playback data, I think maybe if there's more people trading at that brokerage firm, you have more ticks to decipher, and the robot doesn't get confused and go, what the fuck was that? Oh, but okay. I haven't done a side-by-side. Like I said, I don't have the time. I can see what's going on in the market, and like I see the Brown Ryan guy. I think that he thinks that because there are robots that we should let them trade. Yeah, I guess, but man, you better know what's going on under the hood, and you better realize that if you built a robot, which the early robots made sense. I mean, the later robots make sense that say this robot's designed for the Eurodollar only, so it's a specialist in a tight spread in a very highly liquid market that doesn't look as erratic and as astounding as U.S. CAD. So it would crack me up in the forums and chats and stuff where people say that dollar CAD. I don't like that dollar CAD. Yeah, because it goes doji and explodes, and if you're and it reverses and all this weird stuff, and it's very choppy. It's not a good trend trade. U.S. CAD is very difficult to trend trade because very much, I'd say 90% of that thing is ranging. And I think part of that's because that their neighbors, same thing with the euro against the Swiss, is very, and the depegging and all that stuff. I mean, that's very real. And you could say, well, fundamentally, look, see, fundamentals works there. Okay, but does it work to make money? I mean, what gold's supposed to be at $10,000 an ounce. I mean, the stuff. But wave 4 is the biggest wave, and wave 4 is consolidation, and wave 4 is the malaise and the doldrums, and it's just how it is. And like I said, that Asian session, which is wave 4, is, hey, or wave 2. You're like, hey, this is, okay. And so you can do this stuff blow by blow, and you can see that say it is in an uptrend according to the last 20 hours. I'm talking about 20-hour trends, and then all of a sudden it's 5 hours down and 10-hour uptrend, and every zigzag is a trend in its own right, fractally speaking. It has to be, or there wouldn't be fractals. But the astounding thing is to get into the edge here. Look at this inverted hammer here. but you had sell limits stacked up here. Send to chart. Anyways, I think let's see if I can draw in here. Bust out my drawing tool. Okay, so right here. And of course, now this is wait, I don't know, the 6-hour chart or something. Sell limits up here, and of course, where do you get out? Where's your first target gotta be? And it might be a target to go the other way, but this is definitely where this vacuum starts. So what I'm doing is just saying, let me just look at the support. Okay, so we bounced that, and there probably was a scalp there for, I don't know. If you sold here, you got a trailing stop here. Is it to go the other way or just to protect your money? And what happens when you come down here? Well, I know I'm going to have buy limits here all next week. It's pretty easy. Sell limits start here. A guy could just, oh yeah, here. Sell limits here for scalp coming back, and here there'll be some kind of drama off that. Same thing here. And look at how fast you can do this. And the reason I can do it fast is because you've only got fucking 10 bars. Even Forex Factory fucking understands candlesticks. Candlesticks, to me, never work zoomed out. It's too much of a story, man. I don't need to know about how many times. You know, like this is doji, 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 doji. Boom. Super doji. This is the breakout trade. You have buy stops, sell stops. Here you're trapped here, and they'd stop you out. So you fake breakout here, but if you come in every candle, so here's okay, so this is how you run it. Just saying, if you could build a robot that just comes in and goes, oh, here we go, put on a hedge, put on a hedge, put on a hedge, put on a hedge. Right? The robot hedged out because you gave a qualifier and you said, if you see a 6.5 pip body, put a hedge on. But not just one hedge. I want you to put on a bunch of hedges, stops here, stops to here on both sides. Then I want you to put a take profit that starts here and comes all the way to here. Take profits here. We're going to put a 22K in every time the market closes with a small body of 6. Then you have another robot that's looking for an 8 pip or below. Well, he's going to load here too. He's going to get in on that trade. He'll put a couple tickets in the kitty, right? And he's going to get out like this. Okay. He's getting out like this. Then maybe this is a 10 pip bar and this green bot does not come in. But if this is a super tight candle here, now we come in with this pretty fat ticket that looks like this. In other words, we're going to get in at the core before the breakout. We're going to bracket this with, this is passive mechanical trading. We're going to have triggered. And how long do these tickets last? Now, if they last, and on your chart, if you march it out into space, if this is the hourly chart, then this would be this is like a 6-hour chart or 4-hour chart, I don't even know. Pip change 6 hours, I think it's a 6-hour chart. And this is where people just are annoyed. I mean, if this is a 6-hour chart, this is fucking 1 day of bullshit. And then we finally make that. Now here, you would just, and it's dependent, of course, when they consider the end of 6 hours, but it kind of is telling you that we are in the doldrums here. And this is either a B wave and a down, so this is C, completion to here, and then we're going to start to go this way. But it's where do we start the starting point 0 is always going to be when everybody agrees. This is the agreement. Everybody's like, yeah, that's a pretty fair price. You know, I mean, that she used to be a really cool rock star, but she's like, yeah, she's doing car commercials now for Lexus, and Yeah, she used to be really, you know, you have to explain to your kids. Yeah, you know, I used to be really like, I feel like I'm explaining stuff to trying to explain my problem. So and then this crop of stuff, maybe this bot gets triggered, and maybe it's set to buy. Another thing is, when I was trading the nano lots, I had every half a pip, there's a buy stop stacked up here for 15 minutes. And how long does that last? Is it going to be buy stops all the way to here for, if this is a 6-hour chart all week long, you got buy stops there? Now, there's no harm, no foul. If this is your buy stop, and then here is your stop for that entry is, say, here, and your take profits here. And you're constantly running this thing. Of course, the longer that goes on, now if you trailed a buy stop here, they trapped you. Now, if you only traded small bodies, and this is a filter that is the premium filter of all filters. So when somebody comes to record something at your studio, the first thing is you got to get them in the window so they're not clipping the input channel. You can't have so much gain on that. In fact, you probably want to go for 0 gain, right? Drop your gain levels down and let it be what it is. You can always dial it up later and take it out and, you know, light up your tires, you know, get your big fat. The guys, I mean, it's so funny. People in the summertime, we got these guys that race bikes down the street, and I'm like, dude, really? Like, shouldn't you just be home knitting? What are you doing out here? And the tree huggers are driving these. I mean, I got an electric car, but I got a Harley that's so loud, I fucking lost my hearing. I mean, what the fuck? What's going on out there? So all of these overlapping trade plans. Then I would say, if I do my market order scripts, I write the scripts in black. So if I didn't trade on the clock, I'd be like, okay, this is going down, my last down, 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 pause, either sell at the market or buy at the market. Here, look at this premium entry here for a hedge. And of course, if this robot only trades dragonflies or, you know, there's probably in the doji world, there's 10 dojis. We have like a shooting star, gravestone, which is just literally the fucker. This is like gravestone spinning top. Gravestone spinning top. Here's another one. A killer. Look at this. Look at this hammer. Jesus, I can't. My drawing tool does for some reason doesn't make it to the other side of the screen. This is a killer. Because how many killers are in here? If we're just going to go for killer trades, there's one. There's what your eyes should be drawn to these. Got a trade plan for that. How many pips was that? That's how stupid trading is. For a breakout trader. And how much did he clean up? Now, if he ran a trailing stop or ran too tight a stop, they kicked him out here. This is why if you put on 89K here, 89 trade plans built into here, how much work is that? Look how much money you make. How many pips you make. You could have 89 tickets. I mean, the highest res you can squeeze out of this broker is 89 tickets. So you could have got in at 8K at the market you sold. You're like, you know what? I got to add to this. We're going to fill this vacuum. It's coming. You could have here not got hurt if you're running good ratios because you'd be like, oh, it's going up. I got triggered on the buy. It's going up. I'm going to make money. Oh, yeah. I like this system. And of course, this is mechanical trading. This robot is really designed, to my opinion, to do breakout trading. And you could say this is a false breakout, but I mean, just open to close, the variance between open to close, this is the only trigger point the robot needs. I mean, this is I guess the problem in writing this robot is that I'm sure that Ryan Brown's Psycho bot has got more fucking calculations of what's the relative market index indicators say. Okay, dude, that's not right. You can't build a car around the lighter in the car, or the, well, the whole car is built around the way the seat's contoured. We ignored aerodynamics on this car. I mean, you can't ignore fucking reality. And the market's doing the same thing. The market's on the tarmac, and then it's either going to get hit by another plane, or it's going to take off. And you can make all sorts of, that's, I guess the appeal of ICT is it has all these funny, like turtle soup, and how about broken dick? You know, oh, that's a broken dick candle there. You know, I got some great trade plans for that. Broken dick trade. Yeah, toilet seat smashed. You so hammered in the morning, you crawl over the toilet. You can't stand up. So to me, what pops out for me, what just hits me over the head like a ton of bricks, is I saw the hammer in this thing. So here, this one, and this one's not bad. And here they would have trapped you this way, and that's why you would need a 5-pip doji bot, a 6-pip doji bot, and this one triggers 5 single ratioed bots. So each bot has a very dedicated, discrete. It only does one task. It doesn't do all these calculations. So you need a team of bots, is what you need. Okay, so this a million fucking times. But, or you could just be like, dude, okay, of course, like it's this Uber guy, some Uber car drove somebody over, of course. So if it's say that your something happens to your internet connection, and hopefully the robot has launched with his execution, he put in a stop and a take profit, because anything can happen. They could shoot, you know, what if Trump, and turns out Trump and Putin are gay or something, they've been banging each other. You imagine how that affect the market. And Bitcoin and all this stuff is pretty funny. You're using too much electricity on Bitcoin. Come here, son. We're liberals around here, Connecticut. We don't appreciate that fucking, you know, I mean, we could be using that electricity for vibrators for the girls. But yeah, the doji here, look at this. So here, a lot of triggers. Here, the doji bot. I think doji bot made more money on the CAD. It's doji friendly currency pair. Let's see if I can get, so here too. So triggered here, and it scalps something. Now you have to have scalps built into these. Here's an entry, boom, 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 3. And if you consider these 3, it makes up a bigger doji. So your hammer looks like this now, but you kind of destroyed the, so if you can just see the, when it's talking about, there's got to be all sorts of, this is a double bottom on the closing price. This is a double top. So it went like this, in a line chart view of that. So the problem is I'm constantly flipping in my mind. That's why I get all angry at these candlesticks, because I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, right? It's almost like a zigzag pattern, okay? Then up, then down, 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 down. And this is why another thing that Forex Factory has right about candles is, dude, don't paint your candles fucking, dude, that's, well, I'm saying for me, I got chromatic shift issues because I wear glasses, so I can't look at green versus red. And red on a screen to me is vibrated for years on boob tubes. It just vibrates. If I shift my head a little bit, which I'm always moving my head like Stevie Wonder, I just can't deal with it. So these monochromatic candles are definitely the only way to even do candles. The red, like, it's a red candle. What is this fucking... Dude, there's nobody at the intersection. Go through it. Do you need, like... Well, I need a red light, say, because the other guy's using green lights, and we converge. Boom. So you do... It's very hard to overlay. But see, up... So I would say the first thing to do is, if you're trying to be a candlestick recovery, like, he was on heroin, now he's not. Okay, so you would just close... Then you see down. Now you can see actually the structure. And then we get, this is supposed to be a top, become a bottom here. Well, we have to push it higher. And then, of course, the wick is where they backfill this vacuum, and you have your pendings here. Yeah, you're going in an uptrend. Yeah, you're going in a downtrend. And as soon as you like I would say the best thing to do is, if you want another view of the market that's tangential, is to print these out. Go down to your Goober, and maybe there's some hot girl at the printing thing, and print this stuff out on paper on some like kind of heavy cardstock. Get yourself a fat like #2 gel pen and just draw this shit. Draw trade plans going, okay, yeah, someone's got to be up there tomorrow. I know it doesn't make sense. I'm selling into an uptrend. Well, that's not a good idea, I've heard. But until you notice that this vacuum here that exists in this little rooftop, we come up in, the breakout traders are getting in here. The trap traders are getting in there saying, well, it is the last price pulse was down. And you only need this much information. Okay, downtrend. We've established we're in a downtrend. 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 Okay, downtrend. Should I sell here? Okay, but once again, if your ratios are double your money or better, and I've done it before with robots, and I've done it with my own trading, I can be wrong 80% of the time and make more money than Jesus. 80% of $20 is completely different than 80% of $40,000. So it's just hard to believe that trading that you don't get to pick when you get paid. Every other job on the planet, if I showed up, I think at any place of business, said, listen, I will work here for free for a month, and then you only have to pay me $20 a day. Can I work here? Because they outlawed that in the United States. But, so, okay. And so, all these things, and you would just do it, right? You just do things. But I think the glamour that the way they sell courses and trading is so funny. I guess I'm thinking of the dry days when you would just get a book and read it and go, geez, really? Like, man, I paid $50 for this goddamn book. I mean, this can't be bullshit in here. And being so analytical and thinking, yeah, you know what, that's... But then when you step up to the plate and you're sitting and staring at a drawdown in the account, you'd say, yeah, maybe I misunderstood the book. Maybe I'm not a good reader. I mean, everything occurred to me immediately, and I went buy another book. And then I thought, I like what this guy's saying. Now, this is where a lot of people will be successful traders, probably more successful earlier on than I was, because I think I don't trust anybody for anything. But that's just the way I grew up. I grew up in an abusive family. But psychologically abusive, nobody beating the shit out. But everybody's abused, because the world never fits. If we're all snowflakes and different snowflakes looking for safe spaces, then we all are wearing our heart on a sleeve in one regard, because if it's to the core of our being, of our belief system, and this is why people are really very firm in their approach to the market, because they go, no, you're out of your fucking mind, man. Do it like this. Well, so like I have to go back to this tile example. If anybody's ever tiled a wall, now when you look at how complicated it is just to put a tile on a wall. This goes back. I mean, I guess they were doing a bunch of brick building back in the olden days, or Stonehenge, some kind of weird rig there. But everything matters, And of course, a couple of things. How fast can you do it? And can you do it fast and high quality? So you're really, and of course the market's doing the fastness for you. It's the quality of you positioning yourself to make money from a situation. Like I said, it's a cliche that happens over and over again. And can it be this easy? Yeah, it can, but if you've been told your whole life, if it was that easy, everybody be doing it, but people aren't doing it. So it's the doing, um, and just doing, uh, so if you're winning in a trade, that's always going to be in your mind more important than losing. But it's really like if you're only up $2 and you're like, I could be up $20 right now if I would have got in 10 times bigger. That's going to bother you. It would bother anybody, I think, if they put a ton of effort and only made a little bit of money. I put all those orders in there. But this is no different than you trying to gauge your audience. When you open a store, what do I put out in the showcase? What can I dazzle? Like I walked into Best Buy the other day to buy it. A buddy had a printer coupon. He had so many frequent flyer miles. They wouldn't let him leave the store without paying. So he couldn't use all his coupons. And he just he power purchased this thing. He bought this thing. I mean, I spent a lot of time picking gear out. In fact, I probably wouldn't even buy it. A lot of times I'm like, yeah, they're coming out with another one. So they're going to come out with a better one next week. I really don't need this stuff. And of course, I think we really discover what do you really need. And so if you have money to blow, and of course, I had other people manage my money, and they lost thousands of dollars. And I trusted them because I said, well, I don't do that for a living full time, and I'm only a part-time trader, and I don't really want to get that deeply involved. It's, I got this hot wife I'm trying to maintain at that time. Until I think I divorced, that's when I really went more into trading, because it just takes up so much time if you're going to treat it like a real business. Because even if you're only pulling the trigger for 1 second and you're in a position, okay, so you got in the morning in something and you're still holding it and you're like, oh geez, I don't know, go back to the book here. They said cut your losses short, and then the first thought is, am I in a loss? Well, I was in a loss when I got in because I'm down the spread. I should have got right the fuck out then, right? So this cut your losses short is so fucking retarded. So I agree with Ryan Brown that, yeah, I mean, or even Curtis Hanley's saying, yeah, it's too tight to stop. Like, fuck that. I mean, I know this is a good trade. Great. But living inside of 10 trade plans is not easy. I'm a scalper. What are you? Swing trade? You got to be everybody, I think. So, and I've done a lot of stuff. Had some amazing times in life and in trading, and all that stuff is temporary, I suppose, right? Because it's passing by you. And actually, when a trade's really working, and they'd say, "Let your profits run," I'm like, dude, how long do I let them run? These ambiguous things that people throw out there is just really not helping. You would never tell somebody to build a car like that. Well, when do I stop adding wheels? Oh, I don't know. Are wheels a good idea? Put 100 wheels on the car. Huh? What? Maybe there's too much friction now. I just can't imagine, and of course, I think a lot of it has come with hocus pocus about trading, which I think the hocus pocus is, or hocus pocus by focus, with the yodeling, is this Gartley stuff, which is hysterical. And I saw it show up. I'm like, okay, we got cloud trading, which I can dig because, hey, who doesn't like it? It looks pretty, right? That guy from France that was made fun of. The guy that I gave the charting, most gorgeous chartist of the year award. Or even the auto chartist that Curtis Hanley was running. But, okay, but really you should backwards engineer this whole thing from the standpoint of the blunt question of, how do you feel about risking $10 a day as opposed to $20 a day, and accepting that, as Mark Douglas would say, almost saying, I can say aiming at, I'll risk $20 today. I mean, it's like lottery tickets. There's people that spend $10 a day on lottery tickets. They have a limit. Oh, I'll go $10 a day. What if he's risked $10 a day trading? Okay, you're risking, was it $50 a week? Maybe 60 if you consider you're going to trade on Sunday night open. I mean, then people are like, well, how long? Oh, I don't know. There is no exacting, and I get that people that are attracted to trading, unfortunately, are perfectionists and they are intelligent. This is a big drawback because in your fantasy mind, you've got this design that you're like, yeah. And this backtesting idea is saying, okay, this thing works, and when it gets chopped up, it's a trend bot, but when it kicks in, it's making money. Well, obviously, the only way to fucking make money from that situation is that the machine can adjust to the volatility of the market, and it can contour itself to the situation at hand. And it's like the moving average thing. I think there is a indicator that runs I guess, well, the Akanashi does that. Adjusting moving average is kind of like, and I built some very elaborate Akanashi overlays. I think I was, seriously into trying to hand this over to somebody and tell them when it's this color, do this. Super filtered with 1, 2, 3, 4 pre-moving average. I did a video called Cloud Trading, and some guy is making money with it because he could accept these dumb entries, I call them. But see, being what I'd hoped to think that I didn't want to be accused of being dumb. I think dumb goes with loser, goes with, so all these things that words that people use. And I guess since it involves money, then if you have a cavalier attitude about it, like really, Samurai Trader is very cavalier. And he makes money because he's like, dude, you got it. And so he made a bunch of money, And he's like, oh, I see, you can make a lot of money doing this. And, but boy, it's a lot of work. But I see why he's selling. He's a community of people. They're making money with each other because, and of course, I mean, if you're going to sell something and somebody's going to buy it, well, that's between them, I guess, right? And all the stuff I spent money on, I can see the value in it, but not the way I thought it would be in the beginning. I thought that I was taking a class to, like, say I took in power trading, this is a Gartley class, advanced pattern analysis, as opposed to, because nobody wants to take unadvanced remedial, and nobody wants to take the basic courses, but the power is in the basics, right? The power is in the stupidity of like, well, do we have a doji or not? Okay. Case closed. You could look at your chart every fucking day and scan for dojis. We got a doji, Harold. Should we get... Oh, yeah, load the fucking wagon. You take like 3 trades a month and you making fucking 300 pips. I mean, anybody can look at the chart. Well, hindsight's 2020. Yeah, but dude, at the end of the day, if we're to fucking open, we're in a doji, motherfucker. It's time to put the trade on. You're coming in Asia. It's time to go, you know what? I mean, I get goosebumps when I see those setups. I'm like, God, am I the only one that knows that? I got to call my neighbors and that's why I do the YouTube thing, because I want to tell people, yeah, look at these trades. They're just dumber than dumb. Sadder than sad. And I think that's what's just amazing. If that easy, everybody yeah, okay, but you didn't do that trade. And then you came back and started looking for that setup on the 5-minute chart, and you're like, holy shit. Oh, look at all these dojis. Wow, dojis everywhere in the 15. Great, but you better be looking to make 5 pips now, not 50. That's the only difference. And of course, on the 50 pip, when you're going, God, I should have been bigger on that. Jesus Christ. Of course. You're climbing out of, the idea of trading is that this is going to enhance your life with money that you're getting to. I mean, it's a necessity at this point. The older you get, unless you're going to be able to play tennis at the age of 80 like a 20-year-old, I'm sorry, can't do it. I mean, people that are young, of course, maybe if you worked out your whole life at 60, you're still killing it. I mean, some of these people are just, insane. At least strong, physically. But if you can't make money from brute force of strength, like you carry bricks and you're worth X amount of dollars an hour because you carry shingles on a roof, and these big bruiser guys, that live that, that Peterson talks about these lumberjacks and stuff. I mean, dude, you could be a lumberjack trader, making money and stuff, and you're doing this, doing that. But I think most, because trading is also detrimental to your health because you're sitting down, you're just sitting there. But I mean, like I said, the people that have day jobs, if they don't intervene on their trades on their cell phone and let it play out, this poor guy, that, you just can't, he was trading on his phone, this Dalton guy. It's like, great, dude, I mean, you can do that, but don't blame me, right? So, because, like I said, the stuff Ryan's doing, yeah, it works if you earn in $40K on each ticket. This poor guy, I guess this is real money. I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Like, you have to distribute your load. Look at these fucknuts that built this bridge in Florida. Holy shit, did you see that piece of shit? Dude, it was literally like fucking Tinker Toy blocks. The motherfucker had no goddamn... They were adjusting the tension rods on it. Are you fucking kidding me? So this is what the school system brings you. Instead of us being able to... Or the government brings you. That was a government... let's not forget that was a government fucking bridge. It was not privately funded by Elon Musk. And so we've walked away from the fundamentals. Talk about fundamentals. And fundamental trading to me, when I first heard that, I thought, you mean fundamental? Like, well, we got here is a big bull candle. That means the buyers are in charge. Okay, great. To me, it means I just missed making that many pips. Because breakout trading is, I think, what I'm doing most of the day is if I'm watching the market, I'm thinking, are we going to break into that area? Like, is this going to keep going this and cave in or cave up, cave down, cave up, in, up, down? Inside days, an inside day is you could have an inside day bot that just cleans up. He only makes money. This is another thing with Ryan Brown's problem is he got one fucking robot. Dude, you need a team of bots doing that shit. So when this one's winning, that one's losing, this one's making up for that. And at the end of the day, you break even. But you traded. Of course, to me, that's successful trading. Any crash, any airplane landing you walk away from is a good landing. Even if it just bottoms out, you walk away, it doesn't mean that it landed perfectly. And that's all these things come to mind, the Alan Greenspan soft landing. Soft landing? For a really bad... the government's not... This is just the organic situation. There's not a conspiracy. The birds aren't squawking in the morning to wake you up and torture you. That's when they wake up. And you probably don't hear it anymore. I suppose after some time goes by. But yeah, I'm reading the comments in here, and so this guy says that this Ryan Brown, he closed all his trades at the top of the thing, because this pound CAD went sideways. Yeah, after climax, just like look at the dollar CAD. So CAD's getting its ass kicked. Let's see here. So somebody said in here. Let's just read in the comments here. Please hold. Looking at the... I gotta go back to... let's see. I gotta go to the destroying mode. I guess I can't find my exit key. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. So trading is a real mind bender. And of course, the weekend here, it's just a great time to contemplate all this stuff. Some guy said from the Steve Miller Band, he said, Ryan does not care. It's not his money. I think he does care, but I mean, I tell you what, I just could not manage somebody's money like that and just be like, I'd be so careful. Like I'd tell somebody, dude, you just, none of your trades filled, you haven't won or lost, right? So, and of course, if you put money in your account, let's let's get a trade going here, goddammit. Now that's a fear of missing out. So you got all the like 10 people in your head. And that was Van Tharp's answer, was to have a meeting of the boards of the people in your head fighting. Like you got the guy that wants to buy the Ferrari, you got the guy that wants to have money so he can quit his day job and live off the trading account. You got the guy in your head that wants to not trade, get out of the trade early because he's like, I want to bank this and I'm tired. It's a lot of emotional energy to watch my account fluctuate. The bigger I'm in, the more it fluctuates, but I know the only way to make money is to be in a big position. Maybe I should have taken some of the profits. Am I greedy? I mean, this is just going on constantly. That chatter, right? This is the idea of meditation, is to stop the chatter and accept the now moment and just go, okay. And, without taking a bunch of psychedelic drugs, and you don't have to. You can go in an isolation chamber and lose your mind. These things where you're floating at this same temperature as your body. A la Altered States movie, where the guy's in there and he becomes another entirely different. He turns into a monkey. And so, yeah, Chatterbox, that's me. Some guy said. And, yeah, some guy said here, Saving Private Ryan, bring a condom. No lube. Yeah, I think maybe I said that. But yeah, so oh gosh. Okay, so here's a comment by this guy. Okay, so that's me. Okay, so as if the conversation just kept going. So here's a guy looking for a bit of advice. Dave ain't home. Dave's not here right now. So he said, I've been looking at bit advice. I'm trading part-time for 4 years, no success. Been through the mill. Never paid for a bullshit course. Or traded Gartley's, though. About 3 months ago, I came to realization and using stops and limits. Scaling in, the only way to trade. Occasionally, sell stops. Oh, occasionally buy and sell stops. Yeah, no, I really hate using the buy and sell stop thing. I think I really feel about that is, why don't I just take the risk and I'll decide, instead of letting the market decide. So this is where you're handing over your power of decision making to the market. I think on a stop entry, you're accepting the fact that, yeah, I'm gonna overpay for this thing, and but I don't have time to babysit this fucking bullshit. Now, if you go to sleep in a quiet range and you say, you know what, it looks to me like they're gonna, and maybe they trap you, and then you say, I'll never do that again. And this is where the size of that, the sizing per idea, is where all this work is. It's just so much work to. But I said, if you're a person that can handle risking $38 a day and that's the number, and you're like, okay, I can handle that. If I risk $40 a day, I'm like, that's not my budget. So you're, but wouldn't you run a business the same way? Well, I just got this big order. I got this little order, and it's too far to drive, and the guy's only going to pay me $200 to come out there and bang his wife or whatever it is. And, there's one right next door. I think that's why these, like I said, there's Little Vietnam downtown. Yeah, they're like, dude, I'm not going to the other side, Tom. Have people look at me weird. I'd rather be with my own kind. So people already segregate themselves, and this natural thing in the market segregates itself. Now I'm having success a couple weeks. So they came across my videos. So he's trading very similar to the way I'm me. You're making so much sense to me. Gotta hope so. Yeah. I mean, and of course to me it's just like the chore of trading. It's like I really thought that trading would be this magical. I mean, I got books, dude. I'm telling you, I spent. I said I spent $1,000 in books and probably $8,000 in real in the flesh instruction. So I gave $900 to Mark Douglas, and there was 8 of us in Chicago upstairs in some restaurant. I fell off the wagon. I was an anti-coffee drinker at the time. I was very serious about trading back then. And they brought in this coffee and these fucking cinnamon rolls, and I'm like, dude, it doesn't get any better than this. I'm gonna fuck this coffee right now. And Mark is talking, and I'm like, wow, man, this guy is just too much real for me, and just like, wow. So it's like about that. And when he said that you really should get into 3 positions, market, you should buy 3 tickets. This way you can use 1 to scalp, 1 to hold, and 1 for if it keeps going. What the intermediate exit? I thought, yeah, that's it. And accepting that, it's not going to go your way. But so then I thought, well, if that's true, do I pull the trigger on all 3 tickets at once at one price? I thought, I don't think so. Because if I buy 1 at the market for my ego, for my, I think it's going up, then I can prove myself wrong and make money by putting a buy limit 5 pips deep and another buy limit 10 pips deep. So typically what I'll do is if I see the market just dicking around, I think, you know what? I'd buy 5 pips deep or sell 5 pips above. Deep to the north. I guess I don't know how to describe this. I always think deep is down. Deep is below. So above and below, I'll put out traps out there, and maybe they exist for 15 minutes. I go, okay, no fills. I mean, it's Asia, but just that in its own is trading. You're really trading. I mean, you're exposing yourself to risk anytime. But you haven't taken any. The market hasn't met your criteria, so you're the one that's determining the criteria. So you're actually in charge. You're in control, and you don't know it. I think if you get in at the market, now the market does have you in a sense of, well, you're already a loser right out of the gate. And as soon as you're up a little bit on the trade, you're tempted to say, well, look at that. I'm right. And so this right and wrong keeps on switching binary back and forth in your head. I'm up, I'm down. I'm right, I'm wrong. I'm right, I'm wrong. And so he says, yeah, so yeah, he says, yeah, this guy's pretty, he's definitely on the right track. He said he's never joined a chat room. You do it your own way. Yeah, I mean, I've been in chat rooms and I just thought, God, can't we just talk? I mean, people want to be silly too. A lot of chat rooms, people just want to be, hey, did you see? They want to do comical shit. I guess I'm a very serious person. When it comes to analytical thinking, I think that it's not comedy. He says there are resources and books to recommend. Oh, so he's asking, is Wyckoff or Elder worth studying? I think Wyckoff. Really, the reason why Wyckoff appeals to me is that he did line charts on almost everything he described all the phases of the market, and really Wyckoff fits fucking Forex like a glove. As far as markup, in other words, accumulation, reaccumulation, because the reaccumulation is this pause and then just smash down. Of course, it doesn't really, it's more, to me, the Wyckoff is saying, okay, man, it's an auction, it's marked up, then it goes sideways, and then there's another phase of we're going to drop it again. So the first price drop on an item at the store is they drop it, the pauses, people are happy with that price, everybody agrees on that price, then there's another markup or markdown. But it explains wave 4, or explains wave 2 actually. But it's a symmetrical thing. So the Elliott wave belief is that each price pulse has a different lag. This is the 618 offset. But what Wyckoff's kind of saying, I think, is that no, it's 50% off, and then another 100% off. It runs in chunks, like, and there's a cycle also. And then you go to Hearst, so you can go down these different roads. And the thing is that in Alexander Elder, so Alexander Elder is saying, he's a mechanical trader because I bought his course, I owned it on beta tapes, and he what he says is, okay, dude, this market is going up because my 13 EMA is going up. So it's a very crude trend filter. And then he says, I'm waiting for them to push into my EMA. When it comes into the river, and I call it like the trading the river, and these setups do work, right? It's just that you could be doing the outlier trades too. So you could be doing the EMA, 13 EMA, bull and bear power, and you're looking for divergences. And the cool thing about what Elder's doing is he's saying, give me the difference between the high and the close. This is not moving average crossover. This is about bull and bear pressure. So I thought, what if you traded like that? Your divergences are in. What if you took RSI and made RSI high and low? So what I did was I took Alexander Elder's bull and bear power and I said, okay, show me the relative strength of, instead of the MACD, all Alexander Elder is doing is moving average convergence, divergence, highs against close, and lows against close. And what if you did lows against lows? So then you go down that rabbit hole. So I've been through that mill, so to speak. I used to own TradeStation. I spent years on TradeStation building paint bars. So I was kind of building a robot back then, at least a visual signal bot. Hey, dude, put this trade into force, implement this plan based on the colors on the screen. And so the cloud trading or I can actually, I guess I've done videos back a year ago that I go over that, kind of like, oh, this is what you could give your neighbor to trade, and or your wife, and they probably won't blow it up, right? So he says, anyone else? I'm a voracious reader. Okay, well, I'd say, if you can handle reading The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas, it's very cryptic and very, like, if you're reading it and you're like, what does this have to do about trading? Like, when I read it, it was years ago when it first came out, and I'm like, okay, this is very philosophical, esoteric. I don't even know. Dude, where's the fucking... Do I buy or sell? What the fuck is this about? I didn't realize that the structure of your mind, the structure of the market, these things are all interwoven. You're just not, that the market's a Rorschach test and you're reading into what you want to see based on. But when you see the market for what it is, it's just a real mess of vibrations, I guess, in the end, for me, it turned out. And what do you do about that vibration? What do you do about a doji? Do you have a trade plan for a doji? Do you have a trade plan for when it's a shaved candle of a huge, giant move? And does that mean that your trade is a few pips? In other words, you're trying to estimate the landing area in a channel. Yeah, you can do that. And you can do all this analysis and stuff, but you just can't have one ticket. my belief is you can't have one ticket. You have to be. You cannot have one thing on the showroom floor. You'll starve to death. Nobody's gonna buy your fucking stupid piece of art that you think is so cool. You got to do fucking 40. If you want to be a professional artist, you have to have 100 paintings because not everybody's gonna. What would the price of one painting be? Well, I spent all year on that, dude. And what do you do in the meantime? You gotta have some piece of shit you did that's 6 inches painting, 6 by 6. We need more square paintings too. These rectangle landscape paintings are just cliche. We need more square paintings. So let's take a look at so read this guy's comment. I would say the disciplined trader is you know, it's really not something you would read and say, oh, I can go make money with this. It's not a trading system. I think and even the Bill Williams books, I think this alligator shit he has is completely stupid. I think mechanical trading, I don't know if there's mechanical trading books. But of course, I got the, I don't know, I'd say, I guess it comes down to this really dry shit by Mark Douglas. It's super dry. There's no like, look at this. There is a, I'm trying to think. No, I don't know. I think it really has to do with how you feel about winning and losing money. And of course, if you like the way the clouds look, trade the cloud system. This other guy had taken the cloud system and doubled the numbers. He just smoothed it out some more, which is more filtering means better setups but less of them. So there's always going to be this tug of war between, do I trade naked charts raw, bar by bar, at the risk of over trading, as opposed to, do I filter the shit out of this stuff and say, okay, this qualifies. I got 3 moving averages. When these guys get all tangled, I know I'm in a doji. When this thing's, I was like, oh, something's about to happen. And then maybe you get in on the doji and then the moving averages go up and you go, warning up, Trent, I'm going to hold that. But it doesn't mean that that thing can't rip back and spike you out. And if you're running trailing stops, they just took you out, but you made money. I'm a successful trader. How you're making money and the rate you're making money, and if you're making money too fast, you go, oh, something's up. This is like, same thing if the guy that's on the other side of your trade losing going, God damn it, I knew it was going to turn around finally. You know what I mean? So everybody's cheering for their team if they decided to join a team. And how can you make money without deciding what team you're betting on? It just doesn't make any sense. And my Mark Douglas says you don't need to know where the market's going to make money, which I completely resent the remark when he first said it. And I said, well, you're just being, you're a fucking idiot. Like this guy said, well, look at Mark Douglas's trading. He said in one of my comments, see, Mark Douglas, how would you take advice from a guy that fucking lost his house and his car, really? Dude, I mean, would you take advice from, what's that guy that died jogging back in the 80s or something? Some health nut fuck that was eating granola, then he died of a stroke. See, jogging and granola don't work. Dude, the guy had a fucking heart condition or whatever. I can't remember his name. But trust me, it happened. I mean, in other words, the exception that proves the rule, I guess you would say the argument there. And of course, at any time in your life, think of the brokerage firms that got taken down by the depegging and the Swiss franc. Just think how stuff happens. Just think how you ran over the neighbor's dog and didn't tell him, like, I don't know, your dog, I mean, it wanders in the road. And yeah, but his head's crushed on your driveway. I don't know. I guess the other car threw him into my car. I don't know what happened. You shrug your shoulders, you walk away. I don't need the basics, just advanced money management. And so here's what I suggest is go look at anything by Van Tharp. You want to see stuff that's even drier than Mark Douglas is funny. He got some great stories, but Van Tharp. So I that's the most money I've ever spent in trading is a spent $2,000 to spend 2 days or 3 days, I think. It was like Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, in Chicago with Dr. Van Tharp. Now, here's the guy. I bought his course, and I really couldn't even read it. I thought it was the dumbest shit I ever saw in my life. I'm like, what is this fucking shit? I hate courses that are like, okay, this is the workbook. Work? Dude, just tell me how to fucking trade. I just spent fucking $900 on this course. And then when it said personality evaluation, I go like, fuck that shit. I know my personality. I'm pissed all day. You ain't gonna cure that. I'm not. Well, well, if you hang out with somebody that's more angry than you, then you go, I'm not so angry. I'm not so impatient. And of course, you know, I went back and looked at it on YouTube, you know, so years later I'm watching Van Tharp, and I'm like, yeah, he does this percent R shit, coin flip. Now this is where I just feel like, you know, hey, you mean I just got to do, in other words, when am I going to get to use my geometric skills and do all these pitchforks and all this fancy stuff when what you're telling me is that I've got to accept the fact that the next 10 trades I do, because what if I only do 3 trades like this Ryan Brown who bailed on this swing trade? What if I, you know, so like how do I size this thing? And if I accept in, you know, this risk amount and stuff, like he goes into depth in this shit. It's VAN, and it's THARP. THARP is his last name. Tharp. Very bizarre name. And of course I kind of have, well, there's PhDs that are teaching stuff. There's country people that can trade. Bill Williams is just a country guy. He's just a real... but see, now he took the scientific approach and ran fractals on this big computer and all that stuff. And there are people making money with robots. I'm sure they are. Except those robots have a certain task. I mean, I don't think there's an all-in-one robot. There's not a one-size-fits-all. There's just stuff that runs very specific tasks. I think that's always going to be the best thing. You don't want the girl that's, the front desk girl to start working in the back, moving lumber. You know, she's going to be up front and answer the phone. And this is what girls do. They're designed to do that, you know. They're friendly. They're agreeable. I agree with Peterson. Women are agreeable. You know, they're very, you could just like, a woman out trade a guy, guaranteed. If, of course, but a lot of women become guys about trading, and I guess that's the, like, because if a chick can handle, of course, I guess like with this waitress at the restaurant, right? She's got kids, and so she had this look on her face like, my kids are calling me all day long, and I thought, so she's used to that annoyance, but in a way, you can see that she's okay with it. She's not like, God damn these kids, I got to figure out a way to kill them for real. But I think people like to have that real-time excitement in their life. I mean, being alone quite a bit, actually, because my parents sent me to my room quite a bit. Go to your room. How dare you say that? I'm like, hey. So I had to set up shop in the room, you know. And so I never went into that go along with other people's ideas. So I can see why, I guess, people that think a certain way end up at a certain kind of trading style. Now, it's not to say that this Ryan Brown guy, and fundamentally he could say, oh yeah, see, I told you Brexit X. I told you Brexit was going to do this and that. And see, you can see it on the chart. See. And so that's when people say, see, you're full of shit, I'm right. And that's what that Calvin Klein guy was saying. And then I'm a dick and I'm this and that. But it's funny. It's a quite a entry level to somebody's thought process, because you're saying, really, you're going to drive a car like that? You mean you're going to leave it in low gear and just get bad mileage? Yeah, but dude, if I got to make a lane change and just punch it, you got to downshift. I'm already in gear. You drive like an idiot. I drive around third gear all day I'm just ready to punch it. I'll fucking blow your doors off, bitch. You're in overdrive. You got to downshift. I'm already down. Just I know my mileage is bad. I know the engine's got intercooler on it just so it doesn't blow up, but you never catch me. There was a guy saying that once on a chat room one time, and people invite me into these chat rooms, and I'm in there, invite myself, show up, and people say the market's going their way, and they're bragging about it, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, okay, Now, that's a whole nother thing, is that not only are they making money, but they're like, look at my FX book page. I mean, this is kind of like, look at all my condom wrappers. Like, you know how many chicks I've laid? I'm like, okay, great. But, like, I just don't know if that's, like, it's like, look at the wheels on my car. Okay, I don't know. I guess I'm a liberal in my mind when I was a kid, because I was very idealistic. And I guess I'm still, right, there's that person, Nathaniel Brandon would tell you that the little kid that's you were is still inside of you. And so you're always talking to that little kid because you're trying to heal something that happened to you, whether it's losing on a trade or losing your hot wife because you're trading too much. And so you have to heal that. And you have to come to this point of it's okay acceptance. And to truly accept, and this is what Mark Douglas was talking about, is to truly accept that anything can happen. And if anything can happen, then is your system have the valves built into it to accommodate for that. So if you put a shower in your house, you're going to put in a rubber pan at the bottom, just in case you fucked up the tile job. And that's going to save the rest of your house. Do you bother with that? In a modern world, you do. I mean, in the old days, I don't think they had a, big rubber mat to throw down. Or you could actually go overkill. You go commercial grade where you've got like fiberglass poured into a fucking shell. Go and do it. I don't care what you do. This bitch ain't gonna treat your bathtub like a swimming pool, for God's sakes. Whatever. Seal the fuck out of it. But there's this kind of, how far do you go with something? And if it's above and beyond the Call of Duty, like, oh, it's just overkill. You're getting too worried about it now. I don't think you really could in trading. I mean, I don't think there's any, like, if you're going to put in 13 more orders that are going to pay for, what if it doesn't, for dual scenarios, that's another thing that if you read, there's a book, I can't remember which Bill Williams book I had that said, I think all his books describe the parachute idea that, you know what, I'm bullish, but if it goes down, I'll join the short team. I will switch sex on this one. I will not be a bull. I'll become a bear, and I'll go with the crowd on this one. And another big problem is that I really hate trends, in society. So I hated trends when I saw trend trading. I thought, yeah, but fuck these assholes. I'm a contrarian. So I can side on all these different views of it, but I'd say for money management, you really can't beat Van Tharp, because he's going to talk about just the cold hard facts of the math, and you're like, holy shit. I mean, that's really, I'm just a money manager. I mean, I'm just a risk manager. I want to be a trader. I want to be a guy that fucking says, dude, I told you it was going there. Look at that. Like, I told you. Look, we're going here. I mean, this guy, Calvin, was cracking me up. Dude, we're going to 108. We're going to this and then. And if it doesn't even move that way, people are like, well, he must know what he's talking about. Really? I mean, come on. This is ridiculous talk. Okay, so here, I'm going to post again this link to I'm not going to retitle these scripts today. tired from all the antics the past few days, but so let me go over the hard facts of these trade plans. Let me see here. Let me go into the actual stuff I wrote here. And of course, I just given the stuff away for free. Okay, so what I have here is a 50 pips. I'm going to turn off the big fat lines because it's a little too hard to see everything here. So that I'm going to fix the scale on here. So this is my first thing I always do. This is Ryan Brown's trade, I think. So he decided to, this is the monthly pound CAD, and he decided to sell into this vacuum fill that started way down here. First, let me turn off this. So inside the link I'm going to put down here, you're going to see something called, the only indicators I use is pip value, amount of pips. So I have a 50 pip grid, and 50 handles is an indicator you can make fatter lines. The 50 grid, I have not been able to make the lines fatter. For some reason, the indicator won't. It only does 1 pixel width. So I'm going to delete that out. I'm just going to come in with a 50 grid. So you can probably do the math. Imagine, and these would be $5 per 1K risk. And look at the size that Ryan Brown traded. It's mind-blowing, right? Now I'm going to fix the scale so we can scale in and scale out. Scale is pretty much the, well, that's all. It's all about scale, right? Because you could build a 500 square foot house, or you could build a 40,000 square foot house. And I actually bought this on pullbacks here on a different time frame. So these tickets were manually dropped, no stops, and I just kind of threw shit in here. I'm up on this trade though. The take profits are not turned on, and if they were, they wouldn't show up because I don't have any. So I'm naked trading. I'm not, this is demo. And so I'm just playing around with this. And I'm up on this one ticket, and look at the spacing here. So everything would matter here. And once I go like this, the spread closed at 8 pips. Here's another reason why it's, well, he has to be a swing trader on the pound CAD. And he must realize that this is just a vicious amount of pips. I mean, this is 150 pips off the top. And where could have Ryan Brown made money shorting this? And where should he have put his sell limits? Well, there's no rooftops. He wouldn't have got filled on any wick tips. Here he would have got filled. If he just started selling here. Now, let's presuppose he has sell limits for the next, and he was talking about 500 pips. So this is about 500 pip window. Well, markets typically only move 500. This is ridiculous speak. Here is the bottom from this wick here, which really doesn't mean anything, and you would say it does. This structure is no longer means anything, in my opinion, because that's been filled. That vacuum was filled back here. Right, so this support, as soon as we fell into the monthly, and at the moment in time this happened, I guarantee you, there was a scalp available in here somewhere. This is the monthly chart. I'm sure there was scalps if you'd bought here, which is 180 pips. It's 200 pips. I mean, he's also trading up here. That's insane, right? If you started buying below this close, I'm sure in here there was a scalp of some type. Here's the dojis. So if you're a monthly doji trader, your entry was here. So what Wyckoff's saying, of course, here's more of an Elliott wave, big down. Then we start to diminish. But look at this. In terms of actual symmetrical price pulse, so Wyckoff would be like, okay, here. And let's take that and add it to the lowest close in there, and we get our target, right? Come down, Doji out, boom. This is a completely symmetrical wave. Targets hit. And that goes on and on. And then, of course, here is the ultimate. If you waited all year for this trade, pretty good, right? And if you didn't get out here, so where should you be? The only trades available from a trap standpoint is come up here, get trapped above the monthly highs. Sellers come in, they rip it all the way back. They rip into this. They almost hit this guy's stop. If I'm presupposing a robot runs trailing stops, if that trailing stop, let's say you bought a breakout of this candle, you never moved your stop, you never got the fuck out here, they stopped you out, and even though the market's here, you're going to say, right, isn't this the classic? You say, yeah, dude, I bought this breakout, stop here, I never took profits here, they stopped me out because the bankers saw my stops and then they ripped it up, those motherfuckers. But see, you could have put the same trade on here and made this much money. Small bars, lower risk entry. Now this is where talking about scaling in and out becomes really insane because this is a 5 decimal broker, which means you could literally have shit so tightly done in here where you're buying this vacuum. Think about, it's an uptrend, pull back, kick these fuckers out. If you had a buy pack in here of limits, counter trend trading, right? You're in a downtrend coming in. This is a pullback and a bigger uptrend. And of course, you could have your moving averages in here. You know what your moving average is. Once you see enough moving averages, it doesn't matter. I'm like almost estimate. This is like the 8-period moving average. Here's the fucking 30 period that just barely realizes things are changing. Here's the 55-period moving average, just like totally fucking late to the game. This is the 1-period moving average. If we did a 2, so the robot, take any robot and tell it when the one crosses, well, the MT4 has a free moving average crossover system. Say when the 1 crosses the 3, buy. Cross sell. It's going to make money if it has the right ratios. Like I said, if you print out sound on paper and you just go, wow, it's almost like this is like shoulder, head, shoulder. Look at it broke the trend line. How many times have we seen this cliche move? It's so cliche, it's disheartening to the creative person. Oh, we gotta get drawing mode here. So let's draw with the tools that God gave you here. Breakout, pullback, perfect setup, right? It took fucking 2 years for that pattern to form. Very clean on the 4-hour. Oh my God. So let's see if Ryan could have made money in the weekly charts. And I said in the thing, dude, weekly chart, okay? This is the monthly. Look at this motherfucker. So the weekly, could he have done it on the weekly? Let's see. Where is his entrance on the weekly? I don't know if there was a scalp in here. If he would have limited all his selling to everything above here, now how close did he put these orders in? And if we ever come back to here, I think, well, this doji. So this is a doji because it's a very small, and I'm saying that that's a doji because from close to close it hardly changed. So open to close doesn't matter. It's the same time as close to close, right? Between open and close on it's 5 seconds typically on a broker. Close to open of the next candle. Close to open. We just finished off. So open and close are within 5 seconds of each other in candles. That's why I say candles are kind of weird. Because you're really counting the body is the most critical thing. Go back to classical before this red-green shit. And this is the weekly. And here was the structured trade on the weekly. So if he was a bull, without regard to fundamental news, in a timing manner of closing prices of the true breadth of this thing. This is always the classic setup. It's a confirmed uptrend. As soon as we pull back here, right, and we just keep banging on the closing, then we break back. But if you go to the market, the slower moving averages look like this. Here's your channel, right? You can project your first channel off of this pullback, and now you're projecting that we're going to go. You pick the highest close in there, targets are met. So see how that works. On closing prices, if you, once this pulls back, the next candle closes up, you can draw your first I just shut the background running. You can draw your first. So it closed up here, you can draw that. And you connect that to the highest close within that, and that target was hit, right? And then some. Same thing here. So I learned this from the RSI guy, and I don't have to run RSI to see this pullback. See this top become a bottom, structurally end time, not on the wicks. And then we have our, well, you even got one here. This pullback, you take this, you find the highest close within there, you're projected to go here. You take this line. Now you're running out of momentum. This is wave 4 of some degree, where people are like, really? I think it's going to sell. This is what people are, no, dude, it's done. This is going to break down, and it's coming down here. I guarantee you it's more oversold on RSI now. It's a big, hard pullback. Take these two, find the close within, connected to here's your next target. This is you're doing price pulse projections off the last known pulse. It doesn't mean that you can load the wagon with a really wide stop on that idea, because what if it does break down, right? So not all pullbacks, like this here, if you bought this pullback and you're like, I'm going to load the wagon, I'm projecting off of this. Yeah, don't forget, you came out and took out this double top weekly vacuum. You filled here, and here comes the breakout traders getting in on this one, or just the default. Sell stops here. Sell stops here are triggered. No buy stops are triggered for the non-directional traders who are making money. And maybe a slight trigger here. And no more trading takes place until you get a small bar. And I don't know which way this one would have broke before it tanked down. This one, slight trap on the north side. The next candle is where this system kills, and this is why people would make a whole career of selling this course of the very small bar. You should be able to see the inside bars. They should jump out at you just like a hammer would. Inside bar. Here's an inside bar. So here's a real ripe trade. Inside bar right there. Not too many of those. And I'm just kind of looking. Don't see too many inside bars. Here's an inside bar. It's inside the last bar. And that was a winning trade. Because you just filled by default. You let the market take you up in that. Here's the inside bar just before this launch. It's inside of the last bar. So inside bar trading. Dude, people sold books on that. The thing is, now at the magic of MT4, you can run all this stuff. And it'll all run. You know, it all runs in here. So now inside the script there is a whole nother level of the drudgery of execution, which is, you know, the only way to really make money is to participate in the market, you know. Somebody just made a comment about this Curtis Hanley guy being worse than Ryan Brown. Yeah, I think we're all worse than each other when it comes to certain approaches on stuff. And yeah, this guy is amazing. I mean, he's able to plunk along and take all this punishment. This Curtis Hanley guy, I can't do it. I can't take that much punishment. But so let me go into this script thing. And if I view the navigator, I'm going to see, oh, that's terminal. So if you view the navigator, it's going to say, I got a 200 pip grid I can put up here. So I could actually say, let me try to make 200 pips. And what kind of trade plan do I need to do that? So if I do a 200 pip grid, it's going to look like this. I can either drag and drop this, or I can double click it. And I'm just going to put the handle version up. And this is going to be, I can adjust the thickness of that. Ooh, that's not right. Okay, those are too big. So I drew those really big. I was experimenting with, I figured with 200 pip grid, I'm going to make it really fat, make it like an underlayment. But let me put the 200 grid up. So I'll just double click it. Oops, it's going to ask me if I want to do it. So that's 200 pips. Now Ryan Brown's talking about a 500 pip move. And I don't know if I have a 500 pip grid, but you could just adjust it, open this up and edit it. You'll see the grid numbers inside the code. So you just say, okay, modify. And so what you're doing is, and this is the MT4 code, you just say, okay, oops, that's the handle one. This one should be very obvious. The grid spacings is 2000, because this is 5 decimal it's looking at, but you just make that, that's going to be 200 pips. So you can make whatever you want. You do a file save as, you name it, whatever you want it to be. And this is what you do. So if I go for the chart and I say, could I have traded this with a 100 pip stop? I would say yeah, because 100 pips would be in here. This is a 100 pip window of kind of accumulating at where the top becomes a bottom. And there's, if that's true, that means that you could probably make 20 pips on a scalp with anything anywhere on this chart inside of all this stuff. I really don't, if I zoom to this level, it is a little bit much, the whole doji thing. If you stay in bar mode, so I have another indicator here called bar, and this is how you get a big fat bar of this thing. And I can put a link to this guy in Britain who's he did a thing on how to fatten out the bars. But I just call it bar 1, I think, is what I'm running on this one, because I butchered the other indicator. I'll call it bar. So bar is this, and I made it like 6 pixels wide. But really, look at this inside bar here. This is fantastic one here. I don't know if I missed that or just, look at this trade. Buy stops are here. Sell stops are here. You're in a 200 pip range. You just made 400, 600, almost 800 pips on that trade. This Ryan, I mean, he's trading like a big monster currency, man. This thing really, look at even on the 1 hour chart how much this thing can move. So when you fix the scale, this is what's really kind of fucks people's heads over, I think, is this pattern recognition from 1 hour to... So here you see how you would have to trade this contrarian speaking. Is you're going to buy here. So I said that Curtis Hanley guy do it once. He's like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy here. And he put a stop or something. He just traded one position. It never worked with one position. Because not only do you want this price, I want this price. I want this. Like, I'm in love with this idea that it's going to range. I want that price. I want this price. I want this price. I want, and I don't get filled on this one. I'm just speaking of this area here. Right, I want all these prices. And my selling or my take profits start right here when we take out this rooftop. And maybe I cash out of the whole thing, because if I wait long enough, I'm only going to make the same amount later because now we're ranging again. It's just brutal. You get a lofty target in your head going, like, look at this thing cutting through now. Pound CAD on the daily. If Ryan would have looked at this chart, the 1 hour chart, and been a trader instead of an investor. Now look at all the money Ryan Brown could have made on the 1 hour chart. If you look at this area as being a vacuum, is this a vacuum here? Did we fill that? Could you have bought everything below here, gobbled all this stuff up and dumped it? Oh yeah. Look at this. Here's the low of the day. This is the ICT guy tries to do. Here's the low of the day. Okay, there's the low of the day. Whatever. What do you do about it? Well, you could have scalped the shit out of it. Right? You could have bought anything below the low of that day, which on the daily chart is that where you're buying these whatever stop hunt you call it. They're stop hunting the guys that are running a trailing daily stop. Okay, I can simplify what ICT is doing. So guys says, you don't understand the concept. I think I do. There's the low of the day. Here's the high of the day. What do you do about it? When they take out the high of the day, that's the 1 hour chart, right? Look left, vacuums leave clues. Dude, there's nothing here. This bitch is screaming into this vacuum. There's nothing there. That's 200 pips. Look at all this fucking data. Like, you can't. If you're going to trade this chart, think of how differently you'd have to trade this chart. If I draw a channel here, you're like, holy shit. I gotta like, well, where do I even back hindsight looking at this? You're like, holy shit. It looks like noise. Then we zoom in here. You're like, oh, I almost get my brain around. You mean this would take like? So if you just looked at every day, look at this day, a low range day. Look at this bitch rip. This is a completely different view. First we fill this vacuum. Then we come in here and fill this one. And look at the scalpers come in on that. Can you see that? Let me try to zoom in. It's not easy. You can't manipulate this chart like you can in other programs, unfortunately. Turn off the chart shift. Try to get this centered a little bit. If you can see the drama that happened here. Now, the scalpers traded all this stuff here. They had sell limits up there, came ripping back. They scalped up, but they knew the party was over because we get a double bottom in time, and the thing's, and here's a doji onto its own. This is one of those things where you come into Asia thinking it's going to turn around the other way. Look at this thing. Look at this, Phil. Will you look at that? Just look at it. Here, and look at this. They touched the low of the day. Man. Wow. And look at this one. They took out the low of the previous day in Asia by just a little bit. How about this ratio? Contrarian. It's in a downtrend, right? People are saying, well, it's in a downtrend. Confirmed. Look at that. Beautiful channel. Then it reaches this point here. Boy, these are the times, man. And look at even from the breakout traders situation. He's got a buy stop here. This is an hourly chart. This is 4 hours of nothing. Once this vacuum fills, then the scalpers come in off the top of that, pull it back. They've got to go the other way. This is the quadruple top that became the bottom. Launch this little uptrend, come back, pull it back, man. Got perfect top bottom before you leave the station. The last bar is the only one that matters. The last you're only looking back here. This is 8-9 hours. Then explosion. Here's that. There's a doji in here on the half hour. There's a doji right there on the 1 hour. Mechanical trading thing wins. We shear off this double top on this daily. We just cut through that. Sellers start to come in, hit the top of this, and they get sheared off a little bit. They come back to break even. They have to buy back now, right? People sold here saying, what's going to come back to here? They're like, oh boy, 1, 2, triple bottom in time on the 1 hour. Very cliche. There's a triple bottom on the 1 hour. Very easy to spot. We're above the high of the previous day. Look how we just blew this out. Again, another bash, bash, bash. But you got to realize the whole time that's happening. And now, here comes the buyers. We're breaking this trend line. And so Ryan Brown would say, damn, I'm glad I got out of that motherfucker. And when he said stuff like, well, it's a technical pullback, I'm like, why aren't you a technical trader? If that's all the, well, this is just a technical pullback. Look at that trap. This is the 4 hour now. This trap. Here's a channel that exists just for a little bit, and then it's over. Look at that. Tunnel through the air. Look at the rate of these channels. Look how insane. Now, obviously now, you're going up. You may never see. This is the daily. Now look at the daily view. 4 hour with dailies. Here's the daily, and here's the 4 hour. I mean, you got to have, that's crazy, right? Look at this top, bottom on the daily. This is a huge thing. We could come all the way back to here. Now, are we feeling crushing down? We could be. The guy that sold the breakout on the daily here, he's up. This spinning top here, he got in here like an idiot. And when I say like an idiot, just like a dumb, oh, small bar. I only trade small bars. I'm making a bunch of money. Of course, you're killing it. You trade once a month. You got this is what empowered trading should be, just teaching this shit to people. Put a buy stop here, but you can't just do an elaborate, like, here, let me show you what we're looking at for next week. You see, we got like a Gartley here. Okay, but dude, you've got a scalp out of the gate here. You got a scalp here. This never gets filled. Are you a passive trader? Can you just look at this beautiful inside bar? Of course, this is a Sunday. This is not really accurate on this chart, but everything, just think of it as Asia. Starts off in Asia on this chart, actually. So that's, we go to, no, this is, yeah, that's, you're going to see it on here. A 4 hour chart, you're not going to see it. But then, so what was the trade you should be in right now? What was the scalp into the vacuum? Was this? In fact, look at this one. Of course, you never got that fill. Like I said, these are bid prices. So, but look at, they stopped out the guys with the stop at the bid. You can't get that price because it never made it there. The spread's too wide. I don't think you would ever. That's 8 pips on the screen right here. Here's a beautiful rooftop. They pull it off the rooftop here. And but this is, you know, and of course, if this guy caved on this trade way up in here, look at the monthly. That's a 200 pip grid. That's a lot of pips. And this is really, God, look at this trend line break on close. Got a double top, triple top. You're starting to get a lot low range compression there. You're in a 400 pip range, and then bam-o. Look at the explosion on that. And what did it do just before it went ripping up there? It went down a teensy bit and got this. This happened on the news the other day in the Fed news. Still, there was unused space down here that the market needed to get down here because it fuel this huge move up. And look at that. Look at that pullback. But yeah, this thing right now on this time frame, you're thinking, you know what? I think we could pull back to here. This is a different decision than the other time frame that you scalped on. We really pull back to here. So if Brown sold here and he's underwater, 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 it's already giving him back. He's already up 200 pips off his top ticket if he kept with his contrarian view. And if he sold Martingale, he would have made more money, right? So in other words, if he sold like this, like a true plunger, he sells 1K, he sells 2K, he sells 3, 4, 5, 6. He's prepared to sell 100K up here, never gets filled. He's up on the fatter tickets here. He scalps out because he looks at the, in other words, he has maybe the monthly, and he's looking at the 4-hour going, okay, I think I've had my fun. I sold up here on this just huge 4-hour smash right to the 200 level. Actually, that's the 200 handle. Boom. Came all the way back to the 200 pips there. 200 pips. So you're picking how many pips you'd like to make. And look at this, right to the 200 pip yard line. Right to the So which trades were 200 pip stupid ass entries? Here's your triangle. So, right, this is a known previous triangle. We come and retest the apex of this triangle right around the 200 pip zone. And because we're looking to make 100 to 200 pips, we go up 100, you make your first 100. If you stayed through this whole drama, you finally made the 200. Never came back to the other 200. But it's not to say the market's attracted to 200. It's just a way to gauge your dollar risk. Look at how it closes at the 200, amazingly. And this is all ranging. 80% of the market's ranging, so I think all the money, once again, and nobody wants to think about it because